And the game unfortunately finishes there. Lazio 1, Juventus 0. And those words, they're tough to get out, really. It's hard for me to say that because I love this club. I always love this club. This will always be my club. And in the last few weeks, the games, they haven't gone the way we would have hoped. The games haven't been classic Juventus matches, let's call them. It's been hard. It's been a tough pill to swallow. And this is the third loss in a row. Winless in 8 games. The last game we won was September 13th, 2025, against Inter 4-3, the iconic comeback. And I was at that game. We haven't won a game in 6 weeks, almost 2 months. 5 draws in a row post that loss. Now 3 losses in a row. Como 2-0, Real Madrid 1-0, and today 1-0. And it hurts because not only are we losing games, but we're not really causing the opposition too many problems. I thought the Madrid performance was better. It was an improvement upon Como. Today, though, I really don't think we built upon that Madrid game. We looked a lot better against Madrid. We looked a lot more direct. There was a clear style of play. Today, it was like, are we going to be the possession-based team or are we going to be the transition team? We look a lot more effective when in transition. Today, we dominated more of the ball. And when we have the ball, we really don't hurt teams. We struggle to hurt teams. And today we lack creativity. We're going to dive into everything about today. But as always, let me know in the comment section what you thought about the game. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're so close to 10k subs. Like the video. Share it with some friends if you enjoyed. And let's break this down like I'm a DJ real quick. Because this is disappointing. Very disappointing. In terms of... First, let's just look at overall. We had 60% of the ball, as I said. We dominated the ball. But we created very little clear-cut opportunities. There's about 2... maybe 2.5 chances I can really remember throughout the game. We had 1.42 expected goals, 14 shots, 1 shot more than them. They had 0 big chances and we had 3. And again, it kind of makes sense because their goal came from nothing. We'll get into that. We dominated most of the game in terms of momentum. But again, it doesn't matter. All that matters is putting the ball in the back of the net. And they did that once and we couldn't do that. In terms of clear-cut opportunities in this game, I'm struggling to really think of massive ones we created. The first one that comes to mind is Jonathan David's one-on-one in the first half. I mean, I just opened Jonathan David. What kind of a player fact is this? Jonathan David made an error that led to a goal for Lazio. That's a player fact. Yeah, okay, we'll get into that. But that's a VAR. You can't have that as a player fact. I thought you were going to tell me he had an X amount of touches, maybe this amount of big shot. I don't know. You put that. That was just a... That was a shock. That was just a flash bomb grenade. Anyway, Cambiaso plays him a beautiful ball through. On your left foot, you try and chip the keeper. It's saved. You got to score there. That is a golden opportunity. You have to do better in that position, in my opinion. And of course, we got to talk about the goal. It came from nothing. But even Lazio, they barely created. It's not like they were this team like 2011 Barca that mounted so much pressure on us. It was impossible to beat their heavy press. It was impossible to play around them. They were insufferable. They were suffocating us. No, it wasn't that at all. They were mediocre as well because they're a mediocre side who haven't been good this season. But today, we gifted them a goal. Perin has all the time in the world. He plays a long ball over the top to David. David has all the time in the world. He could even control it, head it back to a teammate. He heads it straight into the danger zone to someone, Cataldi, who lays it off the basic. And literally 2 minutes before, I was thinking, who is this basic guy? Never heard of him in my life. And he shoots from 25 yards out. It deflects off Gatti. Of course it does. Of course, it was just with our luck recently. It takes a big deflection of Gatti and it's 1-0. Straight away, within like the first 10 minutes. I don't know when he scored the goal. When did he score this goal, basic? 9th minute. Yeah, it was in 10 minutes. We're 1-0 down. We gifted them a goal. In the rest of that first half, apart from the David opportunity, we didn't create much. It was pretty lackluster. In terms of the second half, was it much better? I mean, there was a chance right at the start with Vlahovic, who should have scored. It was a beautiful cross in, tap in, he hits the bar, but luckily it was offside, which really saved him because that's a bad miss. He should be burying that. It says here he had the least amount of touches for any outfield player. And he wasn't really in the game today. Against Madrid, I thought he was absolutely excellent. One of his best performances I've actually seen in a Juventus shirt. But today, Vlahovic wasn't there. And this duo up top, Tudor went for something different. 3-5-2, not starting Kenan. Didn't work. Didn't work at all. Vlahovic and David didn't gel together. They didn't look sharp together from the start. Their hold-up play wasn't there. Their box threat wasn't there. They weren't ruthless. They should, like, in terms of a duo like that, you had 2 big chances. Yes, the Vlahovic one was offside, but they missed both. You got to bury at least one. Ideally the first one because it was onside, but still, it wasn't there. In terms of, we're going to go through every player now. Perin in goal. I mean, he wasn't really tested after, so can't really judge him. The defence today, Gatti, Kalulu, Kelly. I quite liked Kalulu's performance in the right centre-back role. I thought he looked a lot better than he does on the right wing-back role, but again, just Conceição here defensively didn't help him out too much, so Zaccagni and Basic were really flourishing on this left-hand side. Gatti and Kelly, I mean, Kelly, he struggled a little bit today, I have to say. The yellow card was unnecessary. He was getting caught out quite a bit. Gatti was all right. But again, the defence just looked a bit shaky. It was like any long ball over the top. They weren't guaranteed to win their 50-50s. They were on the ropes for a lot of the match. Cambiaso got hooked at half-time. He didn't have a very good half. I don't know if he got injured or if it was a tactical decision. But in the first half, he was sloppy with his passes. The only good thing he did really was play through David for that opportunity. But he was quite sloppy. And Conceição on the right. This 3-5-2 starting him as a right wing back. I mean, like, he's not in the game. He just wasn't in the game. And I don't get how to get the best out of him. It has to be a 3-4-3. He has to play closer to goal. Because in that 3-5-2, he was too far away from goal. His final pass today wasn't there. His crossing wasn't there. His decision-making in the final third wasn't there. It was strange. And the midfield three, Koopmeiners, Locatelli, McKennie, all got booked. Because they were losing their battles. There were so many times where Lazio were hitting us in transition, they had to yank a man down. Locatelli almost got sent off for like pushing a man. I mean, that's when I knew like his head had gone at that point. I don't know what he was doing. So we were fortunate to not get sent off there. But the midfield three, Locatelli was actually probably the best player on the pitch, apart from that little shove, which luckily wasn't a red card. But he was the best player on the pitch by quite a mile for us. He was retaining possession well. He was spreading diags. He was pinging balls left, right and centre, trying to cause some issues. Koopmeiners today wasn't in the game. McKennie today wasn't in the game. They offered really little in the final third. There was no creativity in that midfield three. If you're going to play a midfield three, I've said this before, I would play 4-3-3 straight away. Play Miretti or Adzic, Locatelli at the base, Thuram as the box-to-box. It's so simple. It's so simple because you've got a very balanced dynamic. You've got a dynamic like Arsenal. They got Zubamendi at the base. We got Locatelli. Okay? Who's still good. They got Rice as the box-to-box. We got Thuram. Similar profiles. Then they have Odegaard typically when he's healthy, but now it's Eze, that creative, advanced 8, number 10, who's a phantasma, who can create things from moments. You know, he's technically gifted, has a good final pass, has a good shot. Koopmeiners isn't that, but Miretti was that at Genoa, that advanced midfielder. I know he's just come back from injury, but he's got to play eventually. Play him. If he's fit enough to be on the bench, he's fit enough to play. Play him. Play Adzic. You have to do something there. Or even play Kenan there. Play Kenan as a 10, 4-2-3-1, with Zagrova Conceição on the wings. We got to try something different. Because this system here look at this lineup, the starting 11. Where is the creativity in this team? There's not one creative player. I would have sent Cambiaso in the 23-24 season. But current Cambiaso, he's lost a bit in the final third. He has, unfortunately. Conceição in a 3-5-2 isn't creative enough because he has to do too much defensive work and he's too far away from goal. None of the midfield three are creative. There's no creativity in this team. The two most creative players are Yildiz and Zagrova. Kenan came on and was played shoehorned on the left. You didn't really understand the system. It was like a 3-4-3 until David got hooked and then it was just a free-for-all. I mean, the subs as well, I didn't understand them. Kostic coming on so early. Why? I don't think Kostic has the game-winning ability. Switch up the system. Thuram, I understand. Openda, I understand. João Mario at the end, João Mario is one of those where, like, he should be starting, in my opinion. We got to see what he's about. You got to give him more than 4 minutes. But I just don't get what this man has to do to come on. I don't get it. I understand he just came back from an injury. But again, if you're fit enough to be on the bench, for me, you're fit enough to play. And unless Tudor comes in a press conference and said Zagrova isn't healthy and wasn't healthy enough to come on, even for 5 minutes, then I'll be confused. I hope that a journalist asked him, why didn't Zagrova come on? Because for me, Zagrova is a player that can unlock a game from nothing. For me, Zagrova is a player that can create chances from nothing. He's technically so gifted. As a winger, he's unpredictable. He can come on the inside. He can come on the outside. He's got a great left foot. We saw that when he came on against Dortmund. He changed the game. Zagrova hasn't come on the pitch since the Atalanta game. He hasn't come on. He hasn't played a single second for the last 5 matches. And I understand in that stretch he was injured too. But today was a definition of a game where Zagrova needed to come on in like the 50th minute, the 60th minute. You needed to switch to a 4-3-3 and have Yildiz, Zagrova and Vlahovic, or Yildiz, Zagrova and someone else down the middle. You had to. You had to, because you're 1-0 down. You have nothing to lose. You have everything to gain. If we lose this game 2-0, it doesn't matter. If we lose this game 3-0, it doesn't matter. Because 1-0 and 5-0 are the same. Just different kind of beatings, but they're the same. This game here, we needed to go to the capital to win. Because teams above us, apart from Roma and Napoli, all dropped points. If we won, we'd be joint with Inter in 4th place. But now we're in a bit of a sticky situation. And I get that we don't have a great record against Lazio. I hate going to the capital. I despise it. I hate going to play Lazio and Rome. We have an awful record in the capital against either of them 2 clubs. But today was a chance to really solidify yourself as a top 4 contender, potential Scudetto contender, in my opinion. But today, for me, just kind of highlights a lack of creativity in the team, a lack of decision making in terms of what system are we really going to go forward with. Because sometimes we play a 3-4-3, sometimes we play a 4-3-3, sometimes we play a 3-5-2, sometimes we play, I don't know what we play. We constantly change and it's getting confusing. I don't know what the best system is right now. For me, it's simple. It's a 4-3-3. But Tudor doesn't like that system. And it poses the question, even if we were to check, we leak chances in a 5-back. Would we leak even more in a 4-back? For me, we'd have more solidity in the midfield. For me, games are won in your midfield battles, and we lose our midfield battles too often. Today, Guendouzi physically bullied our midfield. Today, we lost our midfield battles. I feel like if you win your midfield battles, you always have a good chance of winning the game. Roy Keane said this himself. If you're not up for it, smash into somebody. He said that for a reason. Hit someone. Smash into somebody. Let them know you're there. It's a mental thing. Because games are won in the middle of the park. And the midfield, we don't know what the best midfield is. But I'll tell you what the best midfield is. Locatelli at the base. Thuram's the box-to-box. Them 2 guaranteed. And an advanced creative A. Miretti or Adzic. Done. McKennie shouldn't start. McKennie's an impact sub. Koopmeiners shouldn't start. These guys should come off the bench if needs be. But you need to keep the same team week in, week out. You need to change very little to be able to really compete consistently. Too much change isn't good because it becomes confusing for the players themselves. Like, do you see what I'm saying? I don't know what our best 11 even is. We haven't even seen enough of Zagrova. We haven't seen Miretti yet because he's been injured. We haven't seen enough of Openda, João Mario. I can hardly judge these players. David today, we got him on a free, but he looked stiff. He looked stiff today. I don't know what it was. He was losing his jewels. He looks like he's lost a yard of pace. I don't know if it's the system. I don't know if he's struggling in terms of adapting to Italian football because it's a lot more physical. It's a lot harder to score goals. But this guy guaranteed you 20 league goals for like the last 4 years. It was an exceptional signing on paper. He was a free, but today, and in the last few games, he's really struggled to gel. And it poses the question, what do we do from here in terms of personnel? Look at the table. We're 8th with 12 points. We're 6 points off the top. We're 9 points off bottom place. We're pretty much the same points off the relegation zone as we are to the top. 6 points off the top, 8 points off the drop. We're bang on mid-table right now. We're tied on points with Atalanta, who have been poor this season, winless in 5. We're tied on points with Udinese, have lost 2. They have a better record than us. Matter of fact, Udinese have actually been better than us in the last 5 games. They've lost 2, we've drawn 3, they've drawn 2 and won 1. So they're in better form than us. And the next game we have to play is against Udinese, which shouldn't be a complicated game on paper. It shouldn't, but it is because we're tied on points, and if they win, they go above us. Lazio now 1 point behind us. Again, in the last 5, they have a better record. Even Cremonese in the last 5 have a better record. They have 4 draws, 1 loss. We have 3 draws, 2 losses. I don't know, boys. Today was a golden opportunity to go into the top 4, and we squandered it. We absolutely squandered it, and I didn't like the performance from the team today, I have to be honest. I thought we were, as I said, the creativity wasn't there. There were very few times in that game where I thought we looked like we were the better team or a team capable of potentially bringing the game to Lazio and getting it, let alone 3 points, 1 point. There's only 2 opportunities, as I said, I repeat this, that come to mind. The David chance in the first half, which he should score. And the problem is, you can't really give the benefit of the doubt anymore to those kind of opportunities because we create so little in matches. You have to take your chance when you score. You have to take your chance when you get them. In the last 3 matches, we haven't scored a goal. We haven't scored a goal in the last 3 matches. I mean, let's look at the recent fixtures. Where is this? Fixtures, here we are. Haven't scored in the last 3. 4. I forgot. We tied 0-0 to Milan. We haven't scored in the last 4. At the start of the season, we were like, wow, we score goals, but we leak a lot of goals. But now, we leak chances, and we're struggling to create. And these games here, Udinese, Cremonese, Sporting, Torino, Fiorentina, you don't understand. These are technical games. Like Udinese, as I said, tied on points. Cremonese, 1 point behind us, away from home. You think that's going to be easy? The form they're in, the belief they're in. They were supposed to be fighting relegation. They're mid-table pushing for Europe. They're going to be up for it. We got Sporting in the Champions League. That's a must win. The next 3 Champions League games have to be must wins for us to qualify in the playoffs. Sporting, Bodo Glimt and Paphos. We're winless in the Champions League. We have to win that game. That's going to be complicated. Then the derby against Torino, going to be a tough game because it's a derby. Fiorentina, they're fighting relegation at the minute. I think they drew at the last minute today. They're in horror form, but they're fighting for their lives. And they got a good record at home against us. I mean, these games here are tough games. They're really tough games. And I know we've had tough games in the last few matches as well, but it only becomes harder. It only becomes tougher. It only mounts pressure on us to get results and get points and grind out victories, which we haven't done since September 13th against Inter. So honestly, boys, like, I don't really know what to say in terms of how confident I am in the next few games because they're must win. Every game right now is a must win. Because going into the season, of course, I'm optimistic as always. You guys know me. I thought, I was like, yeah, we'll fight for the Scudetto. But in my heart, it was like, I know we're not the favourite, but top 4 we'll get. With the investments we made in the summer, with the players we have, you can't tell me there are 7 better teams than Juventus in the league. There aren't 7 teams with better squads than Juventus. It doesn't exist. It's not true. In terms of squads, I will give you 2 above us, Inter and Napoli. In terms of squads, personnel that we have, 26 players. So we easily, and even if you think AC Milan, which I disagree because they don't have the squad depth we do, that we're a top 4 squad in Italy. So we should be getting top 4. But Roma don't look like they're dropping off anytime soon. Napoli just got a massive win against Inter. Looks like they're back. Inter still have a great record recently. AC Milan, despite losing to Pisa, pulled one back at the end. They grinded out a result. Bologna, Como, Atalanta, they haven't lost a game in their last 5. So we were drawing, but the problem is, in the last few, we've lost. So it's like, I genuinely, chat, like I'm genuinely a bit, I'm upset. I'm sad because this club means everything to me and it's hard to see us in this state. It's hard to see us winless in 8 games. It really is. I want us to return to the top of Italian football again. I do. I want it more than anything in this world. But right now, it's like we're taking games game by game, but it's a tough mountain to climb. And I'm talking about getting top 4. It's going to be a tough mountain because the Serie A is the most competitive league in the world and it's so tight. And it's not going to be easy whatsoever to get Champions League football. And we have to. We have to get Champions League football. From an economic point of view, from a competitive point of view, there's no mistakes. We have to get top 4. That's what I'm looking at this season. Guaranteeing top 4. I think Scudetto charges too much at the minute. I have to be honest. But as always, boys, let me know in the comment section what did you think about this game? Who was your man of the match? What would you change? What did you think about the system? Personnel? All of that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for the recent support. Shout out to every single one that was in the live stream as well. Big up every single one of you. Like the video if you enjoyed. Share it to some friends. Follow me on all socials down here. My TikToks will be out very, very soon. And sempre forza Juve fino alla fine. We will be back. And I'll see you in the next one, boys. Ciao, ciao.